Hey everyone, welcome to the very first Behind the Studs Best Of. This features some of our favorite guests and favorite moments of the show. So sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Welcome to another episode of Behind the Studs, your home improvement and remodeling podcast, where the two most entertaining guys discuss the do's and don'ts in home construction and in the remodeling industry. Remember that you can nail it, paint it, or just tune into the show. How about that? Here are your hosts, Colin Shaw and Jimmy Driscoll.
Hello everyone, welcome to Behind the Studs. I'm Colin.
I'm Jimmy.
And we are here to talk a little bit about
Everything
today, huh?
Yeah.
All right, we got a couple of things. We want to talk about how to get ready for winter with your house, different things you can do to make sure you're more energy efficient.
Yeah.
And then maybe talk a little bit about paints.
First, try closing the door. That is the worst thing in my house.
Really?
I don't know what it is. It's a phenomena. No, everyone is fine in the spring and in the summer.
Yeah.
And then someone got to crack the door. Just crack it. Just leave it cracked. Why?
Fresh air?
You're going to get locked out of the house? You're in the house. Close the door.
It's not for fresh air then? Or
I feel like my father. Well, I'm not trying to heat outside. What do you know about propane?
So, I mean, we've been actually switching out a lot of systems lately, getting rid of oil, going to propane, especially if you're doing like a large remodel in the house.
Why? Why do you think that?
Efficient. You're at 95% or more efficiency with the propane.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
It burns cleaner, which is nice. And, you do duct work and you can get rid of all your baseboard heaters on the walls, which, I myself included hate them, in my house.
So it's all ductwork.
It's all ductwork. Yep. And then you can add, your April air dehumidifiers or humidifiers on them too, so it circulates some nice moisture throughout the house at the same time that it's on. So, I mean, they just run so well and so efficient. And you got to look too at the cost of propane versus oil too. The actual fuel itself.
Tools at a pawn shop.
Yep.
Pros and cons.
Okay. What do you got?
Good thing that I had. I needed a chainsaw in a pinch.
Okay.
And I picked up a really good Stihl chainsaw.
Okay.
For $200.
Wow.
And it was so good that when I was having trees cut down in my backyard, the tree guys were there and were like, "This is a damn good saw." I go, "Yeah." I go, "No, this is a really good saw." And they showed me how to sharpen the blades because I'm not really a tree guy. I'm a little nervous about that shit. But I was like, so that was the plot. All right, so let's get into this vent thing. This is going to get juicy. Yeah. We're going to learn a lot, and I know I'm going to learn a lot, and I'm going to get slapped when this is over.
Okay.
Okay.
What do you want to know?
So basically, let's go for code right now. You have to use a hard pipe, from what I understand now. A hard pipe has to go from the dryer up, and it has to go out. It can't go up through the roof. Is that correct?
It can go through the roof.
It can. Okay.
Yes.
Is there a certain length, distance that it's allowed to?
So I'll start with the first question.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So when you're thinking of hard pipe, I always use the analogy for people. Think of your dryer. Everything inside your dryer, from the blower to the back of the dryer, is all hard pipe.
Okay.
Why? Because you can't see it.
Right.
So it's the same kind of concept. Code basically states once something goes through a wall, it could be a ceiling, it could be a floor. From that point on, it has to be hard pipe until it terminates. Meaning, wherever the dryer vent is, terminating on the outside of the building.
Yep. Okay.
So, I mean, in that sense, you want hard pipe because it's going to be somewhere you're not going to think of it and you can't see it.
Right.
So you can run it through the wall, you can run it through the floor, you can run it through the ceiling. If you run it through the roof, you're talking a roof jack, you can still do that. A lot of places now are requiring it to be insulated if it enters an attic space.
Okay.
So a lot of times we do that.
Yeah.
And your other question was about sorry, I forgot, what was the other question?
I have no idea. Dude,
come on.
He doesn't remember anything.
I'm mesmerized by you.
I saw a commercial, and the person was driving home, and as they approached their driveway, all the lights lit up in their house, and I was like, wow, that looks so exciting.
Like a surprise party.
And So I went out and I literally just every single weekend for the longest time, I would go out and purchase, 2 or 3 light bulbs.
Okay.
And I would put them in all the different rooms and inside, outside. And I can literally, those have settings as well. So like, you can say, hey, Google, turn the kitchen lights to 30%. You can have, again, with the scheduling, so our outside lights automatically go on at sunset.
Okay.
They go down at sunrise.
Okay.
Same thing with the bedroom lights. I'm an early bird. I'm in bed at 9 o'clock. So right at 9 o'clock, my bedroom lights start dimming, and by 9:30, they are all out.
Wow.
That's crazy. But some of the hidden costs that people don't realize when they go to buy a house, sometimes these old houses, they have passed inspection, but they passed inspection, but and they're not that expensive. They may be kind of cheap. But let's go right to the beginning. Let's go to the roofs.
Yep.
Usually, a roof on a 17 home or 18, it's not asphalt shingles.
Correct.
It is cedar.
Yep.
Right.
So it's a shingle look.
Right.
With
Right.
Cedar.
And that cedar shingle is probably really old. And it's on the cusp of, well, we're selling the house. We're not going to spend the $25,000 to change out the roof. It's not leaking now. We'll just leave it as it is, and it is as is.
Yep.
So you're on borrowed time, ladies and gentlemen. They work really good when they're old, but to a point, once they start to break up and disintegrate, you need a new roof.
But yeah, so the lime, you really want to balance your pH before you start putting your fertilizers down, because you're really going to get the most out of your fertilizers.
Lime
Makes sense.
Yeah, if your pH is off, then you're really just kind of wasting product, and a lot of it ends up turning into runoff, and that's kind of a big issue these days.
Right,
with
yeah.
pesticides and fertilizer
Sure.
runoff.
So when you're putting the lime down, you put that down. You don't really want to do it in like full April when it's a lot of showers. You kind of want to have some dry days. So
Yeah, it's okay to do it when it's wet. Yeah, I mean, you don't really want to put anything down if it's really going to pour. If you're going to get a couple inches of rain, you don't want to put anything down before.
Yeah,
that.
last time you were here, we talked about that. But how crabgrass was like so prevalent last summer.
Right.
And
right.
it wasn't because we had a ton of rain, like days of rain, but when it rained heavy.
Heavily.
Like poured, and then all of the preventatives were gone.
Right.
They just get washed right away.
Right, so that's what that pre-emergent does for your crabgrass.
Yeah.
It's an application that you put down, and it basically forms a barrier in the soil that doesn't allow the crabgrass to germinate. So what's going to happen when you get excessive rain, it's going to break down that barrier, and then it's just going to be no longer effective.
And what's that stuff called?
Crabgrass pre-emergent, they sell it just as that. Pre-emergent crabgrass.
That's all I have.
Get on
That's
it.
all I've got.
So for me, there's a couple of things with the Home Depot or Lowe's tile.
Okay.
A lot of the tiles you buy at the tile store will be solid straight through. So it's a solid straight color all the way through. So if it chips or anything else down the road, it doesn't necessarily show as much.
Correct.
With the Home Depot tile, they're mostly just glazed over on the top. So there's a different color from the top layer to inside the tile. So if it chips, you're going to notice the difference.
Okay.
The other thing for me, too, is if you're running tile and you're going with grout lines that are straight and you're not like offsetting them like a brick, a lot of times with the Home Depot tile, they'll be a little bit different in size from tile to tile. So your grout line will jog as it goes down.
Okay. Well,
So that's my end of it.
That-
That's
yeah, 'cause-
been my experience with those tiles.
right. Okay. So, I deal with a bunch of other tile guys that do tiling for a living. Been doing it for quite some time, and they do like a lot of tile that comes now out of Home Depot.
Yep.
Couldn't say that 6 years ago.
Okay.
But they've upped their game on their tile, and Lowe's has too. So with that in mind, for the homeowner, there are good tiles out there like Dal Tile, DAL. Dal.
Yep. Tile
Right.
tile.
Right.
Yep.
Which is highly reputable, has a
very
great
much.
reputation,
Yep.
and they carry that.
Yep.
Usually Home Depot carries that. And the only thing that I would sway away from in tile work is if you're doing marble tile and it has veins in it.
Okay.
Because they can be thin and they can be brittle and they can break. You have to be very careful with that.
Yep.
Yeah, so as you know, Jimmy, I help homeowners to qualify for the solar incentives, take advantage of the solar incentives, and get their power from solar instead of having to buy from the utilities.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. Now, when you say incentives, what do you mean by the incentives? Like, what are they getting? Is it more of a tax credit? Is it something else?
So yeah, I mean, the whole thing started with the federal mandate, where the utility companies must generate 30% of their power from renewable energy.
Okay.
And so, excuse me. So the federal government has a 30% tax write-off, and
Okay.
on the state side, you have rebates as well. So if you're buying the system, you have that opportunity to benefit from the federal tax write-off,
Okay.
as well as the state. If you're leasing it, that tax credit as well as the rebates actually factor into your lease to reduce the cost of the lease.
Oh, okay.
So it's either directly or indirectly you're benefiting from the.
Nice.
What do you prefer? You prefer homeowners to lease the system or buy the system?
I don't have a preference. I mean, I present all the information to the homeowners, and they make their own decisions.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, if you're middle-aged, younger to middle-aged, then buying the system makes sense, because then you're looking at maybe a 50 years of to amortize that investment. But most people go for the lease, regardless of.
Now, do you consider Jimmy middle-aged or?
Yeah, watch yourself. Watch yourself.
Jimmy's leasing though, so I'm guessing.
Yeah. I was listening to this wording very carefully.
Yes, me too. Yeah, we took some time and really, kind of got some deeper information, more items that are available for
Okay.
stocking stuffers, for
All right.
regular gifts and stuff.
Okay.
So I thought we kind of go into that a little bit.
Cool.
There is, I don't know what you think. I know you said, you like Home Depot better for these gifts and stuff. And, I visited both over the week, and I agree with you. I mean, Home Depot has a lot more stuff. Lowe's has like very little.
They have a better way of just the way they market it, merchandise it. It's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, all the rows that they had going on over there and stuff. It was great.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
It was really good. And,
Yeah.
it's always been my experience, too. I think for the contractor, Home Depot is where you always end up. As
Yeah.
a homeowner, you end up at Lowe's.
There's a couple of things that people do like better than Lowe's, better at Lowe's than Home Depot is the lighting section. For some reason, people like the lighting
yeah.
better at Lowe's.
Yeah, that's true.
Flooring, I don't know. That's a toss
I
up.
don't know. Yeah, that's
You really got to pick and choose. We got to be really careful.
Right.
Which we said. Did we say this in one of our podcasts?
we had to have.
Don't get anything lower than $3 a square foot.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. For flooring, absolutely.
Right.
It's always too good to be true.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Do you have any advice for any of the do-it-yourselfers to get involved in these projects? Any
Honestly,
advice?
I mean, the advice that I have is just like not being afraid to just jump right in. Obviously, safety first, but as far as just getting started, don't be afraid to make mistakes, because we all do. I mean, as even the professionals don't know everything. So, not being afraid to get started and not being afraid to reach out to people for with any questions that you have, because honestly, a lot of these guys are way more friendly than you would ever imagine, and they just want to help. When it came to construction, that was kind of out of my realm of, I didn't know a lot of the different things that had to be done. So being able to reach out to contractors and ask for their advice and bouncing back and forth to a couple different people and getting different opinions is always a great way to do it, for sure.
Great. Super.
Nice.
Very super. All right. So before I go any further,
Yeah. Go.
Tricky, jellied cranberry sauce or berried cranberry sauce?
Jelly.
God, that's why we're working together. Pound it.
Doesn't take
Pound
me
it.
even more than a
Pound it.
second to think about
Grew
that.
up on jellied.
Absolutely,
That's
me
it.
too. Yeah,
Berries.
I don't need twigs and stuff.
Yeah, right. Twigs. I
That's what you
know.
get.
Stems.
Right,
I get
it's
stems.
Awful.
Oh my God. I love this man.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yep.
That's why we do the show together.
Maybe we could do a whole half hour on cranberry sauce.
Well, but
No,
I mean, really,
yeah.
honest to God, right?
Yeah.
Jelly. Oh my God.
Oh, absolutely, for sure.
Fucking
Yeah.
stems. I thought I was the only one.
No, man.
No.
No.
Oh, we'd be great on a deserted island.
Yeah.